There are some days you will never forget, some days you wish you could, and some days you'll never quite remember. For me, October 9th, 2009 is a day I will never forget, although I wish I could. As a 16-year-old sophomore at Merrill High School, I was a member of the varsity volleyball team under longtime head coach Sally Pfund. Sally and I had a very close bond, one that resembled a mother and daughter. She picked me out of my first volleyball camp when I was in 7th grade, which wasn't hard to do at my 5'9" frame. She noticed my lack of self-confidence due to my height, and the very first thing she said to me was that there was nothing wrong with being one of the big girls. From that moment, Sally earned every ounce of my respect. She became a strong, powerful role model in my life. Although her choice of nicknames for me wasn't always the most flattering, I looked up to Sally each and every day. Amongst these nicknames was Statue of Liberty, Bambi, and in one instance, she called a timeout to loudly let me know that we were playing volleyball, not dodgeball. This was her way of reminding me how unathletic I was. And oddly, I was okay with it, because it always gave me a goal to work towards. I vowed one day to prove to her that I was athletic. Amidst these jokes, Sally helped me to grow into a confident, respectable, wholesome person and player. Fast forward to October 9th, 2009. It was senior night for a class of 6 of my teammates who were also some of my best friends. We were playing our longtime rival, Anago High School. After a long-fought battle, we won the match. There was tons of celebration and tears and pictures after the game. Sally, who still had never admitted I was athletic, pulled me aside as I had played one of my best games to date. She said to me, and I quote, "Jess Saby, you actually looked athletic tonight." I'll never forget that moment for multiple reasons. The first is obvious, as I had finally reached my ultimate goal of getting her to admit I was athletic. The second, I wouldn't learn until the next day. Sally sent me a text that night as I crawled into bed, asking for any advice for a wicked headache, as she knew I was a frequent sufferer. I suggested a warm cloth and a dark room for the night. The next day, our team was called down to the office out of the blue. I thought this was strange, but figured it was for some team award or meeting. Turns out, it was a meeting with the principal to let us know Sally was on a flight for life down to Marshfield, Wisconsin. She had suffered an aneurysm in the morning and was rushed to the hospital. An aneurysm is a weak area in the wall of an artery that supplies blood to the brain. This would explain the devastating headache she felt the night before. From there, they flew her to a larger hospital to perform surgery. After a long-waited debate with the administration, our team was carted down to her hospital. The second we got to Sally's wing, I heard the most miserable song I have ever heard in my entire life. Sally's daughter had just received the news that Sally suffered a stroke during the surgery and passed away on the operating table. The sound of that wail still gives me chills to this day. The waiting room was filled with dozens of friends, family, and teammates, and there wasn't a single dry eye. Our beloved mother, teacher, coach, friend, and mentor was suddenly gone. There was a large memorial for the community the next day, as she was also the head aquatic director and a friend of many. To be completely honest, I don't remember much of the days after hearing the news. I was in shock that I had lost my role model, who was only a young 47 years old. I was angry, I was upset, I was confused, and I felt lost. Why does it always seem the worst things happen to the best people? But most importantly, I kept asking myself if there was something I could have done. It took a couple years for me to come to realize that there wasn't a thing I could have done to prevent our loss. It wasn't until I left Merrill and came to Whitewater to start a new volleyball career that I felt truly appreciative for all that Sally taught me. I learned that she not only taught me volleyball lessons, she taught me so much more about life. Her life lessons were about respect for others, and how there's a time to work hard and a time to play hard. She believed in the American myth that if you work hard, you'll experience success. She also taught me to become an Antigone, and to stand up for what I believe is right, even if it's not the most popular thing to do. She helped me to grow into the person I am today, and I truly believe she was placed into my life to help me to become comfortable in my own skin. She taught me to be proud of who I am, inside and out. Through her, I have completed 3 out of 4 successful seasons of collegiate volleyball, and I'll strive to lead my life to make her and my other role models proud. She is my guardian angel who I talk to when I need advice or when nobody else seems to understand. I truly feel she is proud of her work in me, and I have learned to never take days for granted. As the quote from Elie Wiesel and Knight says, "To forget the dead would be akin to killing them a second time." Always in our hearts, she will never be forgotten.